How to get your wife back without losing self-respect. Probably you are separated at this moment, you're totally confused what to do. Probably you have gone to her house and she doesn't want to understand you, and you feel that in front of her, in order to try to get her back, you're losing self-respect. If you are in this particular situation, then continue to watch this video. Hi, Coach Val here. I help men who are going through separation to get back. I help men who are going through a divorce process. I help men who are together without any love to create an amazing marriage. And before we jump into the video and talk about the 4 do's and the 3 don'ts, here is a quick disclaimer. This video and all my videos are for people, for men who want to bring back love. In other words, they're really here to learn. They're not for somebody who wants to blame their wife, criticize their wife, and find out why their wife is wrong, because that's not the way you can bring back love. So with that, let us jump into the video. And first, let us understand the 3 don'ts, the 3 things that you shouldn't do. The first thing is you shouldn't beg your wife to come back. You shouldn't beg your wife to come back. And let me share with you what do I mean by begging your wife to come back. One of the things that men do when their wife leaves is they start calling up their wife, or they go to their wife's house and they say something like this, like, I miss you, I love you, I cannot live without you, please come back. And you are literally begging your wife to come back. And then at the end of it, you feel that your wife doesn't want to understand, and you feel that you're losing self-respect, and you stop the whole process of connection. The second don't, the second most common mistake we men make is asking for forgiveness. Now, this is very counterintuitive, because you could be saying to yourself that, okay, I've made mistakes and let me say sorry. And once I say sorry, she will forgive me and she will come back. And many a times men, after going to their wife's house, after saying sorry, they come and tell their friends and relatives, see, even I said sorry to her. I was the first one to apologize, and she is so stubborn that she doesn't want to accept those apologies and come back. Now, what you're not understanding is just by saying sorry, nothing is changing. Of course, in our program, in our coaching program, and if you want to know more about this program, I invite you to attend a free masterclass that I do. All that you have to do is go to this link called coachval.co, that is COACH, val.co, and sign up for this masterclass. It's a live masterclass. You can sign up for it. You'll also find this link in the description as well as in the comment section. So what happens is, in our program, we have a whole module on forgiveness, or asking for forgiveness. Now, it is called an apology process. It is not just writing a long letter to your wife to say sorry. Now, in this particular thing of you apologizing to your wife can pick up the intention behind your apology. And she picks up that the apology is not about her, it's about you. It's a means, it's a way of manipulating her to come back. And that's why it doesn't work. The next don't is trying to convince your wife. Try to convince your wife. This is one of the most common mistakes men make. They tell their wife something like this: why don't you understand? We got a kid of 3 years old. We are married for 10 years. What will the society think? Please come back. And when that doesn't work, they take their parents along with them, with some elder. And again, the same convincing happens. Why doesn't it work? And why do you lose your respect over them? Is because it's again about you. She can pick it up. You're trying to convince her to come back to a place where she doesn't want to come back to. Instead of changing that place, instead of making it a wonderful place, you are trying to get her back through convincing. And that's why it doesn't work. And only thing that happens is you lose your respect. Now, what do you need to do? There are 4 things you got to focus on. So the first thing to do is to learn relationship science. So why do you learn relationship science? Because relationships work on the 3rd principle of Newton. That is, every action has equal and opposite reaction. And the second thing is, our brain is programmed or wired to hide our action and highlight our partner's reaction. So even if I talk to somebody, ask for advice, I'll be only able to tell that person my story, not what really is happening. But by learning relationship science, I can really understand where I'm going wrong. And that leads me to the second point. That is, what you need to do is introspect. You got to look inward, and the best way to do it is having a framework, having a coach who can support you on this journey. So when you introspect, you're going to understand what is that action of yours that has made your wife to leave you. Because until then, you would be saying that she is stubborn, she's listening to her parents, she doesn't want to understand you. The reason why she left is because of your parents, she couldn't get along. And once you go through the relationship science, you understand how this action is creating this reaction, you will be able to understand how you created this mess. And the next step or the next point is, once you understand it, it takes you to the next thing of reframing. So let me talk about reframing. What is reframing? It is basically, in simple words, looking at the same thing from a different perspective. Give you an example. You go to your wife's house. She doesn't even talk to you. She just opens the door and she says, "Get lost. If you don't go away, I'm going to call the police." And you feel that you're losing your respect. You're losing your self-respect by going and meeting her. She doesn't want to look at you. Now look at the same thing from a different perspective. This happened to one of our members of our community, is where he went through the apology process. He really understood what is that action of yours or actions of his that created this reaction in his wife. Once he understood the hurt that his wife has gone through, and just a disclaimer, it is not that you have not gone through the pain, you have not gone through the hurt, but more you reflect on the hurt that you have gone through, you become a victim, and victims can never transform their marriage. But when you understand the pain that your wife has gone through, just the way he did, you become a creator. You create love in your marriage. So exactly what he did. And once he understood this, he went to meet his wife. And when he met his wife, obviously at a place, she just opened the door. She was very rude to him. And with the short conversation, he left. Now, after that, he sent me a mail and he said something beautiful. He said that for the first time, when I met my wife and she was very rude to me, I did not get angry. I did not get angry. What happened to me is, for the first time, I looked into her eyes and I could see the pain that she has gone through. So what happened over there? If he had not done enough introspection, you would have felt that he is losing his self-respect. But because of the introspection that he had done, he was able to look at the whole situation in a different way. And that is what is bringing back love in his marriage. So reframe. Before we go to the last point, if you have not subscribed to this channel, go ahead, subscribe to this channel, click on that bell icon, like the video if you like this video so far, and share it with somebody who might be interested in learning more about the science and bringing back love. Let's go to the last point. The last point is very important. That is, focus on creating positive experiences. Let me explain this through an example. Think about the first time you met your wife. This is before marriage. Where did you meet your wife for the first time? Was it in your house? Was it in her house? Was it in college? Was it in the workplace? Where did you meet your wife for the first time? And when you met your wife for the first time, if you had asked your wife, "Will you get married to me in the next 2 hours?" What do you think your wife would have said? She would have said, "Are you crazy? I don't even know you. How can I just get married to you?" Now imagine that you try to beg her to get married to you, or try to convince her. Do you think your wife would have agreed to marry you? Most probably not. But you didn't do all those things. You did not beg her. You did not try to convince her. What you did was, you created positive experiences that made your wife to get married to you, let's say 3 months down the line, or 6 months, or 1 year, or if you had been in love for love and it's a love marriage, then probably 2 or 3 years. Now what changed? What you did was, You used to call her up, you used to message her, you used to talk to her, you used to make her feel loved, you used to understand her problem, you used to make her feel that she matters. You made her feel that you are there for her. And all those tiny things added up to you coming together. Now, the same thing applies here. Right now, there is no love in your relationship, but the strategy is the same. It's not about begging, it's not about convincing, it's not about asking for forgiveness. It's about creating positive experiences. And everything that happens in your marriage, no matter how rude your wife becomes, or how aggressive your wife becomes, or no matter what she says, it is an opportunity to bring back love. And if you want to understand how anything and everything can be an opportunity to create positive experience, then I invite you to attend one of my free masterclasses. Just go to the link coachval.co and sign up for this masterclass. I'm going to leave this link in the description as well as in the comment. So that's all for this video. And to summarize, don't lose self-respect. Don't beg your wife, don't try to convince, and don't ask for forgiveness just to get your wife back. Instead of that, learn relationship science, introspect, reframe, and create positive experience. So before I end this video, what's the one thing that you have learned from this? Just write in the comment section. And if you belong to the Awesome Husbands Hub, just write #AwesomeHusband and write your comment. Until we connect again in the next video, keep your love story alive. Bye-bye.